My name is Vijay Krishna Dharani, and I am the principal mentor of Kavach Academy. And this is our new initiative. We call it the Wisdom Chronicles. Information and knowledge, something which we know. Why don't we share with everyone? Why don't we get people's views on it? Our speaker today, Harish Vashisht, he has been extensively studying Gandhi as a person and the Gandhian philosophy.
After almost 1.5 century of his birth and almost 70 plus years of his death, why are we still interested in this persona that Gandhi is? If you call someone Mahatma, then you can't isolate an incident from his life and then see or look at that and call him a Mahatma. You have to see the entire life. After South Africa, Gandhi comes from London in 1914 to India. We can see that our independence struggle is called or referred as independence struggle. It's not an independence revolution that we got. Gandhi detested violence and he asked everyone to accept what you are afraid of. Gandhi was not very much known in the 1916 in the political landscape, had strong abstinence from any kind of intoxication, had strong abstinence from in 1906 he had taken a vow of celibacy as well. So there was no affection at all towards anything. Gandhi and Sarla Devi, they developed some affection after exchange of lot of letters with each other. And Gandhi at a time wanted to call her or declare her his spiritual wife. Now, as soon as Rajaji C. Rajgopalchari gets to know about it, he writes rather a hard-hitting letter to Gandhi, which puts him back to his senses. And what Rajaji says is that masses or people in India, they appeal to his sainthood as well. So if he does so, or if he abandons Kaaba or Kasturba, then it would just tarnish what he stands for. He would differentiate, or he would create a disparity between what his thoughts are and what his deeds are. So, well, no surprise that Gandhi referred Rajaji as his conscience keeper. During the speech, Gandhi talks in Gujarati, right? And next comes Jinnah, and Jinnah talks in English. And Gandhi mentions it that next time try and talk in your native tongue. Violence is the resort of the timid. Authority is the resort of timid. He found solace in words of Gita. There was an assassination attempt on him, but he puts a special emphasis that villages should be economically self-sufficient. He had no personal life at all. Anyone could walk in, anyone could talk to Gandhi, anyone could interact with Gandhi, anyone would write to Gandhi, and they expected reply. The experiences that he had when he was a kid, there was this instance when he lied to his gymnast teacher and he felt disgusted after he was caught. There was this instance when he stole from his brother and he had to write a written apology to his father, which proved to be an emotional landmark, as he recalls in his autobiography, which made him realize that truth was Ram, truth is God. Experiments that he conducted with his friend in school named Sheikh Mehtab, where Mehtab, how he could just lift a snake with his hand, and Gandhi then hated snakes. He was very scared of snakes. So he wanted to get as strong, and which tempted him to try goat meat with Sheikh Mehtab. The experiments they had with cigarette butts. He was once taken by Mehtab to a brothel and was paid in advance, but later he was sent out. Gandhi was not a very well read man. He kept his sources constrained. It was only in jail when he found time, when people sent him books from all across the world. A few were delivered to him by the British authorities. Anything with political content was not delivered to him. His son, Devdas Gandhi, after Gandhi's death, says that long back he had stopped, taking or seeing Gandhi as his own father, because he had become so much to so many people that he no longer belonged personally to anyone. The man was so aligned in his thought and deed that there was practically nothing hidden of him. Louis Fisher. Fisher visits India in 1942 and talks to Jinnah, Gandhi, and a few other leaders. Now, what Fisher says is very interesting. Fisher says that, that if you are to talk to Jinnah or any other leader, they don't have anything new to say. What you would hear from them is conceivable by your mind. It already exists either in some ideology or in some book. But if with Gandhi, if you are to trigger or tap the right buttons, as he puts it, then it triggers a chain of thought which is entirely original. These methods had a futility in them, and there are enough examples of those. In the 1924, there is Vaikom Satyagraha, where people in Kerala are fighting for access to streets where there were temples, where there were Brahmin temples. They were not given access to the streets. And now these people, these untouchables, they sit for fasting. Gandhi writes to them and tells them, stop fasting. You cannot fast against a tyrant. And he gives an example that you cannot fast against General Dyer. Fasting only works when there is a moral lean against whom you are fasting. And now Gandhi decides to take up a 21-day fast in 1942, when probably he's in his arriving near 70 years old. 21 days of fast for his dignity. Had it been Lord Irwin or Lord Readings, who were more viceroys in during 1920 to 23, had it been them, they had certain consideration or reservations towards Gandhi, they would have been more considerate. But in the 1942, the viceroy was in Lithgow, and the prime minister there was Churchill. So the fasting didn't work. Irwin or Readings would have convinced Gandhi or had done something to bring him out. Gandhi demanded that the Britishers change the report and hold him not accountable for the violences which took place. He did not seek an apology. Well, that's the magnanimity of the man. But what he sought was change in the report. Had it been anyone else who was thoughtful of Gandhi had done it. But in Lithgow and Churchill, on the other hand, they came out with this press release. They were ready with a press release that if Gandhi dies, we would release this. So Gandhi acknowledged the futility in his methods. Gandhi knew that they were not absolute. With no exaggeration, one of the greatest ever, Ramchandra Guha, says that BJP has misowned Patel and Congress has disowned Patel. Well, I like to add just one another thing, a third bit in this, that India has disowned, and these both BJP and Congress both have collectively disowned and misowned Gandhian spirit. This would be my bit on the Gandhian spirit. I thank you. I thank all of you to be patiently listening, who are listening patiently to this entire talk.
Few things which I would like to point out. I mean, what I loved about this talk is one thing which you specified, that authority is the method of the weak. I mean, actually, somehow we feel authority is power, but then probably dialogue is the way of the strong. Maybe exercising authority to subdue or suppress someone, that's actually weakness, that's not power. But unfortunately, in today's world, that is considered power, but that's actually a weakness. Also, another beautiful thing which I have today got is that religion can be unifying. Religion need not always be discriminative. We call him Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, but we need to understand he is also a human being and he is also prone to influences, just like we are. Every one of us is getting influenced by day to day. We are reading, we are learning, we are seeing the world, and we get influenced. There's no surprise that Gandhi is also influenced both by Eastern and Western thought. Today, the way you are, you were not like this 10 days ago, you were not like this 10 years ago, you won't be the same person 10 years from now. So influences play on us, and it's natural. Even Gandhi is not an exception for it. He believed truth to be God. So ironic today. The all kinds of truth which we know today is coming from WhatsApp forwards, Facebook statuses, fake Facebook news, something coming on Insta stories. So I truly doubt that are we even living in the truth? I mean, it's totally questionable. Privacy. You said Gandhi never had anything called privacy. Like anyone can walk into his rooms, can talk to him. He's barely having any belongings. I mean, for us, today's generation and the next coming generations, privacy is so damn important, is it not? We want to be left alone, right? Yeah, we may have parents who love us, children who love us, spouses who love us, but we don't want. Sometimes we want that me time. This generation has this new word called the me time. I mean, everyone loves me, everything is great, but I want to be on myself. Like, so I'm sure the students who are on this forum today, who are all in their early 20s or late teens, they would probably associate with it. that you want your own space and time, is it not? Somewhere you want your own room, your own space, that privacy. I mean, imagine, can you imagine a life of not having privacy? Like your life is an open book. People can walk in. It scares us. It literally scares us because we have so many dark secrets, is it not? We have done so much shit that we don't want to talk about. We don't want anyone to walk into our rooms. We don't want people to stalk us. We don't want them to look into our cell phones. So that way, I think this person was commendable.
Of youngsters don't follow Gandhian spirit and rather criticize him on being self-centered man and sexual assaulter. What's the take on that? There were various people who were in the ashram with Gandhi when he conducted this experiment. There was media all around Gandhi's ashram when he conducted this experiment, and no one reported it. And Gandhi did not say anything about reporting it or not reporting it. Gandhi discussed this experiment with letters. Gandhi conducted this experiment for his, I don't know, spiritual awakening, so to speak, or if one may put it that way. So this experiment was again open, but what we don't know is there is a lack of sources on this.
And we would be continuing these kind of series. Of course, the topics would be drastically different. So today, since it's Gandhi Jayanti, we have chosen Gandhi as a subject and Harish as the speaker. We would be having multiple speakers on the forum on different subjects of your interest, and about economy, about lifestyles, about markets, about current affairs, politics. So this is just a knowledge sharing session where we will be roping in experts from the relevant fields. So you will have all kinds of topics coming in, and I hope you will continue this journey with us. This is a learning journey. We named it the Wisdom Chronicles, and the Chronicles. So it's a series. It keeps on going, and I hope everyone comes out of this as a better person, as a more learned person. Thank you so much, everyone. So Harish, thank you very much for your contribution, and thanks everyone for being here. Goodbye.